My name is Philippe, Harewood. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. My handle is Phwd. So I do bounties on Facebook. So that's pretty good for me right now, and that's what I'm here for, like just to talk to researchers and hear what other people have to say about bounties and security. From the very beginning, security is probably bug bounties, like hardcore security, not just learning about passwords and basic university stuff, but bounties definitely like threw me in the deep end of the pool in terms of security. Initially, I used to do programming in school, and I participated a lot in Stack Overflow at the start, so a lot of Flash, ActionScript. I used to be heavy into that. I used to do a lot of development, and then I saw myself moving towards a Facebook API. And it seemed very interesting to me at the time because I really liked what Facebook was doing. I loved features, I loved the friendship connections, what you can do on Facebook. It was just kind of like a hook. So when you can use the API to program stuff, I just went with that. And from there, it became learning more about the documentation and realizing that there were flaws in the system that I was taking advantage of. And back when I didn't know about the white hat program, I was just using it to answer questions on Stack Overflow because people were like, how do you get a friend list if you don't have the permission? I was like, oh, well, you just use this hack to do it. I didn't really think of it as security back then. I just thought of it as bypassing the system. I read a lot, so anytime Facebook white hat list updates, I don't look at it for the ranking. I don't do anything about ranking. I don't care if I'm number one or not. If there's just a new name on the list, like Orange or something like that, I'll look their name up online, try to see what they blog about. And if it's not about Hall of Fames, then I'll follow them and see what they have to say and see if they have any new techniques. So that's how I started off. So initially, I used to follow Neil Poole, Nir. That used to be he used to be OAuth's king of Facebook. Jack Witten's a pretty good guy. Steven and Joseph. So those guys I used to follow a lot. They didn't know who I was back then. I was just reading all their blogs and just trying to gather information about what Facebook sees as security and what Facebook sees as privacy concerns. And as you read more, you realize these techniques extend to other companies and other websites like Harewood and BugCrowd and Google and Microsoft. And there's so many different ways you can deal with security out there other than just the 10 top or WASP, bugs. It's probably between my laptop, a few notebooks, a couple of textbooks that I bought, and my phone. So I'll go around with my phone, and if I'm browsing Facebook, I'll probably write down something quick this seems like I could try a bug here or something like that. In terms of actual hunting, it's basic tools that everyone else uses, but in a different way. Probably just Google docking, looking for domains, looking for stale files, looking for stale configurations in GitHub. If anybody left any access tokens online, I tend to even go through the JavaScript files. So a lot of people tend to not do that for some reason. So they'll do the web API, check for authentication, but they don't even check what's happening in the background. So for example, one bug in Facebook is that they left their actual access token in the source code, and it was just right there sitting for a very long while and no one knew because no one was reading it. So I do very manual work, but I like to get more into automation. So I have little repositories set up that watch for changes in Facebook's site and the layout. So that helps a lot because when I see something changes, then I know either there's a bug there or there's a chance that it could be a bug, because if something changed, then it introduces more variation. So it's all about code coverage, right? At least for me, how I do it, it'd be to read a lot of documentation, get accustomed to learning to read and loving to read. Once you can get to do that very quickly, reading code is just going to become a breeze. Even if you don't understand the high-level implementation of it, you still get that feel of sitting down there and reading through it instead of just trying to find a regular IDOR or XSS, which is still good. I love reading about XSS bugs. But at the same time, I like just reading through documentation a lot because developers these days, they don't seem to like API documentations at all. All I read all the time is oh, Facebook API documentation sucks. I'm all right, well, if you're not reading it and you're not reading it, then I'll read it and let me see what the problem is and let me see what the flaws are. Probably look into business logic. It's an area that not a lot of people are thinking about. And permission models, say you have a site which has like an admin versus a regular analyst versus just an employee, how those permission rules change. That's something that not a lot of people are doing these days, because you can get away with a lot, as an employee. And these days it seems like employees are leaking stuff out there, so you want to strengthen inside and make sure nobody from the inside is doing any harm to your company. Just go out there and just start reading stuff. It doesn't even have to be about bounties. Try to read about security in general, see what new technologies are out there. Even read up new languages and see what you can do there. Last thing would probably be CTFs. That's what I want to try to get into because of Orange and Mongo from background. I talked to them a little bit, and it's interesting to hear that they come from that CTF rule, and everything is just so good for them. When it comes to the bounty rule, it's just like similar. It's so similar for them because they're already hacking all the time, and they know that bugs are there. With this, it's like there's a chance there's a bug there, but their mind's already said that I'm sure I can find a bug there, and they just pop RCs like it's magic. So I'd say for new guys, get into CTFs, learn about that, follow those guys in CTFs, because I think CTF guys are the ones forward in becoming the top hunters in the future.